Here's a theory I'm starting to wonder. I wonder if part of white culture is that you just don't understand African American culture. Like you're always wanting to understand, but you don't. Here's why I'm saying this. I made a video earlier asking people who are African American or black, which do you prefer to be referred to as? The people who commented were white and basically said, well, why do we have to label them at all? And I like that concept, but then the person who was African American or black commented and just simply said, black is fine. Some people would rather African American, but black is fine. And that was it. See, I think it's this concept that, like, if you're a white person, you so don't want to be identified as the least bit racist. So you become so politically correct that it almost distances yourself from African Americans in African American culture. And here's what I mean by that. So think about this concept. What if I said, you know what? I don't see color. I'm colorblind. When it comes to people, when it comes to humans, I'm colorblind. We're all the same, brother. And while I do agree with that statement, I think that statement is racist to a degree. Because here's what it's saying. Oh, you're African American. Oh, I didn't notice. Okay, well, we're all the same. Culturally, your identity, it's no different than the rest of us. See, to me, that's racist. Because if you're African American or black, you have a different cultural experience compared to someone who is white, for better or worse, in whatever ways. We could say the same thing about someone who's a Japanese American, or an Indian American, or a Jewish American. To deny them how their ethnicity ties in with their version of the American experience, I feel is racist. I think you cannot deny that. And I think it's important that we celebrate, acknowledge that as far as that goes. So it's not about being colorblind. It's about saying all people deserve to be treated the same way, with respect. But at the same time, we can acknowledge that, hey, this person is African American. They have a different perspective of life than I do. And naturally, I'm not going to relate to that until I'm able to learn more about it. So I just feel, though, like I said at the beginning of this video, I feel that something that defines white people culturally, because there's many things, like the band Coldplay, that's a white culture thing. Are there black people that listen to Coldplay? Of course. But most people who are white are going to listen to Coldplay and get a pumpkin frappuccino from Starbucks and pay $6 for it. There are certain things that are culturally white, just as there are things that are culturally black. And no better or worse, but we can understand and celebrate that, because I think it takes away if we are to say to someone who's black, I don't recognize that you're black. I don't recognize that you're African American. We're all the same. I think that has actually got some accidental racism in it, is what I think. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's possible that white people are so in fear of being perceived as racist that they don't want to acknowledge the fact that African Americans have a culture within America? No, not all. See, that's the thing. You can't say that all black people do this. You can't say that all white people do this. But there is a culture there, and I think to deny that culture is racist within itself. And I think it speaks volumes that I make a video asking, what do you prefer to be called, black or African American? And one black person answers, and the rest are white people. I think that speaks to our fear of being seen as racist in even those terms. And well, why even say African American or black? Why can't we just call them people? Well, here's my answer. Because it's not to say, hey, look at that black guy over there. Okay, that's racist if someone said that. But instead, if I were wanting to talk about how the percentage of young black people who are graduating college compared to 30 years ago, if I were talking about that, I'd have to say either black or African American. So in the context of it, that's how I mean. I guess in theory, we could make any ethnicity or nationality racist based on our tone, which I think just inspired me to make a new video about whether or not the term Mexican is by default considered racist on a subconscious level. But for right now, comment on what I'm talking about in this video, which is it possible that we're so fearful of being seen as racist that we're denying identity of African Americans and that we want to all be seen the same and that we don't see color? Could there perhaps be some ironic accidental racism in that? Comments right here.